Hello, this is Dread from Epic Builds. In today's video topic, we're going to be going over a Racing Strike Void Knight. Yes, I've finally touched a Racing Strike. So there's a few things that happened this patch that has enabled this build from being a meme. So there's a lot of other builds I've seen where you use Vengeance for mana gain, and it's kind of clunky, and I didn't really like it. So I wanted to see if we could actually get a Racing Strike itself into a build without feeling too clunky. And that's pretty much what I achieve here. So the idea is we're utilizing mana regen, which has been buffed this patch. I have about over 22 mana regen right now. I think it is a little overkill, but it's plenty enough to keep me going, especially when my Volatile Reversal gets up, and then Volatile Reversal, which was fixed this patch. So it was bugged a few patches ago. I mean, this last patch, because it was not giving you the correct mana back. A lot of the times it would put you to negative mana. It would give you more mana than you're supposed to. So now it's fixed. Now it's very, very consistent on how it's actually supposed to work. So it actually does what it reads, right? We actually are teleported back 2 seconds to back where I was in terms of positioning and in terms of life and mana, or in this case just mana because we turn off the life node. But still, the mana thing works insanely well with this, because what we do is we run the node inside a Racing Strike that disables attack speed scaling but gives us 50% increased mana efficiency. This brings a Racing Strike down to a decent amount of mana that we can use, and it allows us to actually count our attacks and use it for reversal. So what I do is I attack once, and then I attack twice, and that's usually 2 seconds, and if you reversal right after, that's 2 seconds, and it'll bring you back in time to when you had full mana, which is absolutely insane for this kind of build, because it means every Volatile Reversal I can reset my mana and at least attack 4 times, which is absolutely insane for single target, as we are a VK and we still echo, which means that we are doing insane amounts of damage with a Racing Strike, and we don't have to use anything to support it in terms of Vengeance or Rive or Smite. We just use the regular Sentinel package with Sigils, Anomaly, and Lunge as well. So the beautiful thing about this build is it does a crap ton of damage. There has been a new base type of weapon that has been released. It's called a Lucerne, and what it is it's a two-handed mace that gives you base critical strike chance up to 12% and 114 base physical damage. Well, since we're disabling our attack speed, we can actually use this weapon, put flat and crit multi on it, and still get all the benefits, because we're doing a crap ton of damage with this build. It's absolutely amazing. As you can tell from the video, I'm killing Herot pretty quickly. When I do actually get to hit him, I actually accidentally put Enrage on him. So right now, if you guys did not know, if you wait to do your missions until after you're done grinding the stability up, if you do the missions, it will actually remove mods as you do the missions like it normally would through the echoes, meaning by the time you get to empower until the boss, right, if you do all 3 quest echoes, it will actually make it so you have less mods. Now, I don't like this at all. I just kind of farm all of my bosses at once. I don't like having to stop pushing echoes and then going to go do a boss real quick. I like being able to save it up, but at the same time it kind of ruins the experience, as the bosses, they don't get the mods. So I hope that they fix this and make it so that quest echoes don't degrade your progress of your mods, as that kind of just makes it a little bit more annoying, because sometimes you show off bosses that just have Enrage on them or something like I did, and it's kind of sad. So I am showcasing this build off in level 90 content, as I'm a little bit busy today. Normally I would push this all the way to Empowered Monos, but as you can tell with the damage, we're going to do just fine in Empowered Monos. We're going to fucking shit on Orbis like it's nothing. It's like the usual, fanfare. So there's actually a tournament today that I'm going to be participating in. It's going to be an Acolyte Volatile Zombie tournament. So I do want to get this video out now so I can focus on that tournament. So with that being said, let's get into the game, shall we? Did you guys know that I also stream on Twitch as well? I stream at apprentice_epoch builds. I would heavily suggest checking out the stream, as that's the best way to see behind the scenes of me creating builds, and I can also answer all of your new questions, like your newbie questions. I can also help you guys out with builds as well. I'm completely okay with just helping you guys out. Also, I would heavily suggest joining the Discord as well, as that's the best way to be notified when I have new videos or when I'm live. And you guys can also interact with my wonderful community filled with loving people who will all be definitely be willing to help you guys out, especially as me as well. Don't be afraid to PM me if you need any build help as well. With that being said, let's enjoy the video, shall we? Alright, here we are in game with the build. The name is Erasing Mana, as that was what we used to call Erasing Strike before this patch, before the fix to Volatile Reversal and stuff, because as you can tell, it cost a lot of mana. But now that Reversal is fixed, it's completely fine. You will have times where you actually kind of mess with your mana a little too much and you lose mana, but that's what the mana regen is for, is to keep your backup when, it's a backup for when your Reversal fails. Now, which it doesn't, it's more user error now, because it actually works how it's supposed to be. So to get into skills here, we're running Erasing Strike, we're taking 1 point travel into Dust to Wind, 2 points into Rifts of Destruction Travel, because we're not scaling Void Rifts at all, and then 1 point into Rhythm of the Void. The reason why we're scaling into Rhythm of the Void is so we get the mana efficiency. As you can tell, my Erasing Strike costs a lot of mana. So even without this node, our Erasing Strike would cost a lot more mana, and it no longer scales with attack speed. What that means is your base attack rate, 1 attack per second, is what you get. So I hit the dummy, it's one second, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. So this is actually beneficial for us for a few reasons. First, it keeps our mana up. Sometimes you'll accidentally, if you have the attack speed version, sometimes you'll accidentally hold down the right click too long and attack too quickly, and you'll actually do an extra cast and lose some mana. So that's actually really good for us, as it allows us to control when we do slam. 2, we don't have to run attack speed anywhere. We have attack speed nowhere. Like on our gear, nothing. Like, I barely have any. I have negative 10% attack speed, which, by the way, we don't get affected by. We're getting negative 10% attack speed from the Lucerne. So the base attack rate is slow, right? But we're not affected because we're not affected by attack speed thanks to this node. So it actually buffs our attack speed. We could also do a cheeky thing. We can also run, where is it? Juggernaut Stance. So Juggernaut Stance gives us 15% less attack speed. So as you can tell, 1 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, and it's the same thing. So you can run Juggernaut Stance, you can get chilled, you can do anything, and it will stay the same amount. So it's kind of like like that node in Pee-wee. I can't remember exact name. The one that you can run on boots, the Calm's Roots. I can't remember the exact name, but it's really strong because. Like I said, for multiple reasons. And also as well, if you can tell, since our attack is 1 second each, right? And Volatile Reversal brings us back by 2 seconds, right? 1, 2, bam. Right? 1, 2, bam. You see that? No matter what, as long as we play the build correctly with a Volatile Reversal and hit that thing right, we always attack twice, we always get our mana back, which is absolutely insane. So that node is a star of the show. So 5 points into Merciful. So there are 2 choices here. You could run Ruthless for more damage versus full health enemies, or you could run damage versus damage enemies. The reason why we're going for this route is because this is a lot more consistent on bosses, while this is a lot better for trash clear. So if you're pushing really high arena, you'd probably want Ruthless, but if you're pushing just monolith or just want to kill bosses quickly, merciful is the better idea. So what we would do is we will lunge in and then proc merciful, which will then give us the more damage, right? So the enemies always damage. Or we can use reversal too. Reversal works as well. As long as they're damaged by a little bit, it works. Then we get Erasure of the Living, so for the 10% kill threshold, which is very strong, and then the 50% more damage as well, which is just multiplicative with all the other modifiers. Then 5 points into Obliteration for the 100% more damage, but increases the mana cost. This is actually we're actually able to run this node because of the fact that we're running Rhythm of the Void, which gives us insane crits, as you can tell. I was waiting for an echo. There you go. There you go. Like some echoes. It's not exactly how much damage we can pump out because there's a few things that are conditional. Like, for instance, this does not take into account that the training dummy, is it dying? I think it does get damaged. I don't know how that exactly works, so just know that we're actually getting more damage from this. Then, of course, we take one node into Absorb the Remains. You can either grab this, or you can grab the base crit, so you can actually dump Lunge as a crit if you really want to, or grab if you have the +2 on your chest. I don't have +2. I rolled a different chest. This is for a different build, but it had the 18 physical and the +2 to Warpath for the 88% increased melee damage, so we're running that for now. But if you had a +2 to Racing Strike, I would probably grab Moment Stolen, as 16% increase movement speed sounds really good while you're in arena, and at least in my opinion, right, that would be actually pretty cool, just having that movement speed. So maybe take a point out of Obliteration to get even 24% movement speed to actually make farming really fast. You should be able to run through monoliths like it's nothing with this node, right? And it'll make up for the fact that you attack so slow too, right? Now for the next skill that's very important is going to be a Reversal. So we actually don't take any of the attack speed because, like I said, we're not affected by attack speed, so there's no point in actually running the attack speed here. So we grab 3 points into Time Sap. This is actually very strong, as since we kill literally everything at once because the Racing Strike does so much damage, this will allow us to proc Reversal multiple times in a row in a very quick fashion during packs, which allows for buttery smooth playstyle. 1 point into Time Lost Vitality for more cooldown recovery speed, so we can bring it down all the way to 4.5. 3 points into Catching Up for movement speed, as you want as much movement speed as possible with this build. 1 point into Terminal Void Rift Travel. 2 points into Food for the Worms for the Time Rot chance, because I had extra points laying around. 4 points into Dark Expanse, and 1 extra, but like I said, I had more points laying around. Then 3 points into Harbinger Dust, so enemies take 30% more damage, which is very strong for us. Then we have 1 node in Incipient Void Rifts, so we have 2 Void Rifts, and then 2 points into Traveler's Fatigue. We don't really care about health regen because we're life leech based, so we don't really care about our health regen, so I'll take the free cooldown recovery speed. Now for other nodes here, we have other skills. We have Lunge. Lunge is your stereotypical crit setup. This is like almost everybody's crits, their Lunge setup, so pretty much easy to figure out why. Mainly just crit. That's the most important. We are stacking armor a little bit, so the armor stuff is good as well. But that's pretty much it for Lunge. Not really much to discuss here. Now for Sigils. Sigils is your stereotypical void damage tree. Like I said, we are running armor as well, but mainly we're just converting our Sigils to void, so you get a bunch of increased damage. So our main damage is physical and void. We actually scale both of them. So if we, so that's why we run a bunch of generic increased damage modifiers, but this turns it to void and gives us a bunch of increased void damage for 1 point, so it's pretty good. Then for Anomaly here, like I said, stereotypical tree, you don't really need much from this. The Sigil on kill is really nice for arena as well. Then for Anomaly here, we take 1 point travel to Void Touch, 1 point into Immediacy, so that we don't actually CC any mobs, so you can actually kill bosses with it. 1 point into Time Bubble, 4 points into the duration, so it lasts longer. 1 point into Time Lord, so it's cast on me, so that it always stays on me. Then 5 points into Decimation, as giving us extra crit is insane, especially since our Lucerne has so much base crit, right? It's absolutely insane. I don't even have the max amount of base crit I could have for this. It's an exalted weapon, but I dropped an exalted weapon, so I was like, why not? But you could probably build something better with like void damage and crit multi and reduce damage from critical strikes and stuff like that. But yeah, that's why we're running that. And then we have, I believe, 1 point travel and manipulation. Like I said, attack speed does nothing for us. 3 points into swift rest for even more cooldown recovery speed, which is very strong because as it's up, our reversal gets down to 3 seconds instead, which is absolutely insane considering that we only need it every 2 seconds, right? It brings our uptime even stronger. We have 2 points into Time Eater for health leech, effect doubled for void damage, then 1 point into Void Maw, which gives us increased health leech as well. That's your stereotypical anomaly tree as well, although you take 1 more point into manipulation as you'd want the attack speed, but not for this build. And for other, that's pretty much it for the skills. Let's get into the passives here. We take 5 points into Overwhelm because we want the flat and the stun chance. We are doing gigantic hits, so we definitely want the stun chance. 8 points into Juggernaut for res and strength. Strength increases our damage, generic, so we can run as much flat as possible from different sources, while also it scales our armor now, and armor is actually good this patch. 2 points into Fearless Travel for HP, 5 points into Armor Clad because, you know, it's stereotypical Sentinel tree, and that's pretty much it for the Sentinel base tree. Now for the Paladin tree, we grab 8 points into Defiance for res, 2 points travel into Valor, 5 points into Flash of Brilliance for the HP stacking. The blind doesn't really affect us because like we're in melee range anyways. Then for Forge Guard, we actually take 5 points into Weapons Master and 10 points into Fresh from the Forge. So Fresh from the Forge reads every 3 seconds we deal 80 plus more flat, and just to compare, we get like about 180 from our weapon, so that gives us like 30% more damage just by doing that. So you must be wondering, Dread, if you use Lunge, right, for, you know, your procs, like for your crit, right, then how are you supposed to use Fresh from the Forge? Well, if you did not know this, our echoes actually consume the Fresh from the Forge buff as well, so most of the time that's for our echoes, because it's never the first hit that deals all your damage, it's usually the second or the third, or the echo as well. The echo will do a lot of damage as well, as you can tell. So it's never the first attack that does our damage. So this node actually helps our single target DPS significantly. Like if you see in that Hirot clip, I have this node, and you can see when I actually procs. Now we have Void Knight as well, 5 points into Temporal Corruption for flat void, as we want as much flat as possible, because Erasing Strike scales at 300% added damage effectiveness, which is absolutely insane, right, for what we're doing. 8 points into Void Blades for more flat void, 1 point into Void Corruption for critical strike multiplier, 6 points into World Eater for some leech, 5 points into Patient Doom, because if we set it up properly, like we're talking about here with Fresh from the Forge, we actually get the increased damage as well, which is strong for us. 5 points travel into Woe for increased melee damage, increased void, and then like increased armor. 5 points into Echoing Strike, so we get up to 30%. I think it's, actually I can't remember exactly. What is it? Exactly, it's 10%. This brings it to 20%. This brings it to 25%. And then this brings it to 35%. The reason why we're not grabbing all 5 nodes into this is because, to be honest, for 5% for like to get up to 40% isn't really worth it, considering that we're actually not utilizing the attack speed. This reduced attack speed doesn't affect us either because of that node and Erasing Strike, which is hilarious. That's pretty much it for the Void Knight tree. Now we have about like 20-ish points left. Where would I put those 20-ish points? Well, a few things we can do is max out HP everywhere, like literally just max out the HP everywhere. You could run 10 points in this node, so you can dump some res on gear and some HP. You can actually run Devouring Blade instead for increased damage as well. You could run, I believe you could go over to Hammer and Anvil and just suck up the less damage dealt, so you actually are tankier. You could go this route. You can go for Crushing Blows. So our Erasing Strike costs 6 mana. So Crushing Blows here gives us increased mana regen, which is strong for us as we're a mana regen build, and as well, if we have 6 points on this node, we have 3% increased damage per 1 mana. So if we actually have 6 nodes into that, we would get like 180% increased damage. So crushing blows is definitely worth it. I'll take 6 points into this as well. And then maybe increase melee damage with the two-handed weapon. That's actually really good as well. Like, there's a lot of things you can take in the Paladin tree, not really much, but in the Forge Guard tree, because it's kind of the same kind of play style. So a lot of your good nodes are here. And that's pretty much it for the passives. For the gearing, idols. Literally all you want is 4 of these. 76% increased melee damage for 4 seconds when the skill echoes. Since we're scaling all different kinds of flats, we have to run generic scaling so that we actually scale all of our flat at once. So that's why I'm going to just run 4 of these. I don't have it unlocked yet because I haven't finished the campaign because I've been busy. So, it's fine. Now for helmet, you want cooldown recovery speed, because the more cooldown recovery speed we get, as you can tell, the better our reversal gets down. So that cooldown recovery speed is very important. Increased echo damage when a skill echoes. That's an insane amount of damage for your echoes and leads to really funny boss kills, because you'll see like 2 echoes go off at the same time and completely destroy a boss. Increased health, and I would run increased endurance as well. It bricked on me before I could do that. For the amulet, you want crit multiplier, not crit chance. It just rolled like this. You want crit multi. You should be able to reach 400% crit multi with this build very easily if you just get crit multi here and crit multi there as well, and maybe some better crit multi here because it's only tier 4 crit multi. But yeah, I would run crit multi, mana regen, HP, frailty. For the chest, +2 to Erasing Strike, and the rest of this is fine. You get T5 melee blunt because this is a blunt weapon. And rings, I want double copper rings for the crit, right? And then double mana regen rolls, and then double strength rolls, and then get some res if you need it. Get endurance and HP and strength, since strength gives us 5% increased damage per point. It's not just 4%, it's 5%. So that's like about like a 20% like more efficiency than like other nodes, right? That's insane. So stacking strength is really good for this build. So as much strength as you can possibly get everywhere else. This is like 30% damage, and this is like at 8, that would be like 40% increased damage, which is definitely worth it considering it scales our armor as well, in endurance percentage as well, so we can get capped on endurance. Then for the gloves, we're running you just run crit chance, health, and health. That's pretty much it. Boots, I actually got an exalted T6 hybrid health, which I'm very proud of, although it's sad that I couldn't roll a vitality roll where that intelligence is, but that's fine. But this is like an insane amount of HP. Obviously you wouldn't run the exalted if you didn't have it. You just run tier 5 hybrid health, and you'd be just fine, right? Argent Crest for reses is just the best base for us, as it just caps a bunch of our suffixes, so we can run crit multi on the prefix. Another thing where I didn't get crit multi. I could be doing way more damage right now if I just had better gear, but sadly I need to move on from this build, so this is going to be wrapping this up quick. Mana regen, because we want as much mana regen as possible, so that when our reversal, like I said, when our reversal does fuck up, we don't get fucked over because of it. So we also run res and res. You could probably just run a res and an HP if you have better res everywhere else. And that's pretty much it for the guide. I do want to revisit this and refine it more, but like I said, I have a lot of things to do today, so we're going to wrap it up now. With that being said, thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you're at, and bye!